Good morning, Kevin.
Hey, Earl, my brother, great to see you as always.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Another great Monday.
It is, and it's a Monday of Halloween week. So lots of spookiness in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure a lot of people had all their festivities last weekend. So a bunch of Halloween parties and trunk or treats and things like that, kind of kicking off and wrapping up, So,
Yeah, and we were chit-chatting a little earlier. Probably a good thing to talk about some of the scary myths about today's housing market.
absolutely, my man. Let them know what's going on.
Yeah, well, hey, I'll take the first one.
Okay.
Myth: if I have student loan debt, I can't buy a home. That is absolutely not true. Now, folks may think student loans will be very cumbersome in the process, and it is definitely something we take a look at when we are qualifying somebody for a mortgage. And the proof actually is in the numbers. 40% of first-time home buyers actually have some sort of student loan debt. We see it very regularly. It's very common. And one of the biggest myths behind student loans is if payments are deferred, we don't have to consider them. We actually do, but we have a reasonable calculation. It varies a little bit depending upon the mortgage program, but typically we use 1% of the balance of your student loans, maybe a 0.5%. If they're if they are deferred, if there's no payment showing, so we use a minimum payment that shows on your credit report, or a minimum we use to estimate just in case that it does eventually have to be repaid. But it is very common for someone to have student loan debt and purchase a home, but you do have to have your student loans on time. They can't be in default. We have government-backed mortgage programs, so you can't be in default on a federal debt or obligation.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And I guess, like you said, for those people that have student loans and are paying them on time, and then that just falls along with the regular, suit of things.
Yeah,
But
just
yeah,
like any other debt.
yeah, absolutely. And that's just one of the things, like you said, one of the biggest myths that people always had. Oh, I have student loan debt, so I can't buy a home. So yeah, you being able to clear that up for them, man, is huge, really huge. Myth number 2, and we've heard this echo throughout the whole year, and we still hear it right now. And that's that home prices are going to crash in 2023. That is completely false. And the data proves it. Nationally, home prices are not crashing. They're actually on the rise. There was a slight dip in pricing third, fourth quarter 2022, but ever since then, we've had nothing but continued growth. And I'm going to share a little chart here. You guys can actually take a look and see the actual chart numbers yourself. Looks like, I think we saw something before where appreciation may end up somewhere in the threes, by year end, mid threes, 3.5%, something like that. Once it's all, as far as price growth, once it's all done nationally. But yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest myths. Prices are not going to crash. Homes aren't going anywhere. If they were talking about anything, it may have been in transactions, and like as far as transactions from 4 million to 3 million, or from 4 million to 3.3 million. That's not really a crash. It's just a slight slowdown. Back to what we're talking about, depreciation versus deceleration, things slowing down versus things dropping in price.
Yeah, we're not increasing at 4, 5, 6, or 10% per year,
Right.
but we're increasing at more reasonable and moderate levels where it's healthy.
Healthy. Absolutely. That's the biggest thing about it all. This is a healthy market. Definitely not a down or sick type of market.
And then the third scary myth: I have to put 20% down when I buy a home. That is absolutely not true. In fact, the average across all homeowners is a 14% down payment. The average for first-time buyers is only a 6% down payment, and you don't even need that. There's a lot of programs with low or no down payment required. If you're a veteran, VA mortgage is not required down payment at all. If you purchase in an area designated as rural. We have a USDA mortgage program. Same people that certify your beef in the grocery store, no down payment required. And in Virginia, we're really lucky through Virginia Housing. We have some first-time home buyer grants and incentives where you can get a grant that covers all of the required down payment except 1%. All you have to do is come up with 1%. And if you can't even come up with that, they have a program where you can finance the entire down payment. So you really don't need a down payment. It's great if you have one. Opens up options. Of course, it saves you money because you're getting a smaller mortgage, but it is absolutely not an obstacle to purchase. So if you have questions on that, reach out to me, reach out to Earl. We can let you know what's out there. Don't be scared.
Absolutely. There's always multiple financial vehicles, when buying a home. That's the big thing. Don't fall, a lot of people fall victim to that 20% down rule, and it kind of just takes their mind out of the game, So,
right.
But
yeah, 20% down goes way back. And it still it sticks in people's minds because that's the figure to not have to pay private mortgage insurance on a conventional mortgage.
Right.
So that's one loan type, and it's one little expense that's really not even that big of an expense anymore. So 20% down, there's not even a lot of advantages to it anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That is definitely true. So
Yeah,
that makes everybody feel better,
Absolutely. So it's a great time to buy a house. If you need any mortgage and financing information, I'm Kevin Onizuk. You can find me at loanswithkevin.com or give me a shout at the office, 757-645-0196. How do they find Earl?
They can find me at 757-871-4167. And I'll just drop a little bit of information, a little bit of numbers before we head out, being that it's month end. Next time we see, everybody here, it'll be November. Hey, end of the year's here. What, 24 days from Thanksgiving?
Don't even. Oh my goodness.
It's here. It's here. 2 weeks.
Let's not talk about those numbers. Let's talk about some fun real estate numbers. I always like those.
Absolutely. Well, right now, year to date, October 2023, days to sell is about 28. So it's taking about roughly around a month, for a home to be on the market and for it to sell. One of the things about that that's good news is the fact that right now we have the most inventory we've had on market the entire year within the last 12 months. So that's a good thing, because if you're a buyer and you're in the market, you have more options. There's more homes for you to look at. You don't have to make that split overnight decision. Yeah, that's awesome, man. The average sales price right now is hovering around $380,000. And of course, these numbers, I should have put this disclaimer out here first. These numbers are for attached and detached single family townhomes, condos throughout the greater Hampton Roads area and Williamsburg as well. So just to give you an idea, this is a more localized view, a more focused view of our numbers. The average list price right now is right around $395,000. Which is not bad. That's affordable in some markets. I know some people would like to see it more along the lines of 280 to 340. But in our area, which has a lot of traffic, a lot of movement because of military bases and shipyard and things like that, average list price right now is about $395,000. Months inventory actually ticked up. Let's go back to what I was just saying a few moments ago, how we have the greatest amount of inventory right now. Months inventory supply that we have is 3. So we're still potentially in a seller's market, but as you can see, things are starting to balance out a little bit. It's still going to a more balanced, stabilized market. People generally say that a stable or general balanced market is 4 to 6 months, inventory. And like I said, that's up 1 month completely from last month. In September, we were at 2 months inventory.
I'd say stable and balanced. That's a good thing, right?
Oh man, that's an excellent thing. Excellent thing. That's why people should take advantage of it right now. Not just for the sake of going to buy a home, but you have time to think about it. You have time really to make a good educated decision, because who knows what the rates will look like 5 months, 6 months from now. We could be in another bidding war situation where things are just ridiculous.
You got that right.
Absolutely, man. But yep, that's all I had for today. Kevin, I appreciate you so much, my friend. Have a great week.
Always a pleasure, my brother, and I look forward to our update for next week.
Absolutely, man. Have a great one.